Kabat.
And we are happy to have Mr. Hiren Chheda also, again senior most member in our one of the senior most member in our EPILPA. Welcome, Hiren sir.
Thank you, thank you. I'm little late, sorry.
Not an issue, sir. Not an issue. So I again request participants to mute, except Hirenji, Dayanand sir, and SK Gupta. Good morning, everyone. I think I am audible. The username is 4FB9C3A. Please mute. Thank you. So this is Prakash Mari. I've invited you to the seminar over here to share some knowledge with the help of Advocate SK Gupta sahab. Even the lockdown has brought everything to standstill, we are constantly in touch with our clients through various webinars during this lockdown period. They are helping us, we are helping them, we are coordinating each other. The business has to go on. After all, it's good to the economy of the nation. Listening to the brainstorming sessions amongst the petitioners and the respondent of the apex court. Finally, of the 12th June 2020, the Supreme Court delivered its interim order. Now I'm telling about this interim order. You know, final order is yet to come in July. The decision is yet to come at the July ending. Order advising all employees representatives to sit across the table and negotiate the issues. So the Supreme Court has given this opportunity to settle within yourself, the employer, looking after the scenario which is going on. So the Supreme Court has also directed all the state government to assist all the parties in settling the matter and come amicable settlement for the reviving of the economy of nation. So even though the larger question which was before the Supreme Court, that is constitutional validity of MHA order, remained unanswered, Supreme Court has delivered the interim judgment more on the humanitarian ground. If you see the emphasizing of legality of the issue by giving the punchline that industry cannot survive without the workers and workers cannot live without the industry. Both has to be in the complementary way and reciprocal to each other. So now how to implement the SC order and what is the interpretation of the interim verdict of the Supreme Court today morning? We have with us senior most lawyer of Supreme Court, Advocate SK Gupta from New Delhi, who will present insights of this judgment. Advocate SK Gupta, please address all the participants about the webinar who are eagerly waiting for this to listen to your pearls of wisdom and dynamics of the judgment. So over to you, Gupta Sahab. Thank you. Gupta Sahab, unmute कीजिए.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash. And I am obliged that you have invited me for this webinar. And I'm also obliged to all the participants who are attending this webinar. Okay. Now, just to make a, though Mr. Prakash has already narrated some points in respect of the judgment of the Supreme Court. Okay. It is not a judgment, it is a order. I can say it is a order plus interim order. Okay.
Gupta Sahab, you are on unmute mode.
Now you are listening me?
Yes, yes, we are able to hear you, sir.
Yes, yes. Now, actually, basically, this judgment, basically the lockdown period, which started from 25th of March and was ended as per the MHA notification on 17th. 18th, actually, all the employer, they can take a on decision in respect of the wages. But in respect of the 54, this dispute is still sub judice before the Supreme Court. Now, why actually this dispute came, most of the person they are knowing, but just I want to clear. Initially on 20th of March 20, the Ministry of Labor and Employment has issued a circular that no employer will terminate the services of the employee during this lockdown period. And subsequently, when the lockdown was declared on 24th, effecting from 25th March, okay, the people started migrating from their own native place, like in Delhi, Surat, Bangalore, Bombay. So there was a quest across the country. Then what happened in that matter? The MHA has taken a decision and they have issued a circular dated 29th March 20, especially besides other terms and conditions, but only the Roman third condition, which is mentioned in the screen, that all the employer be at in the industry or the shop or establishment shall make payment of wages of their worker at their workplace on due date without any deduction. So it is also affecting to the, partially it was affecting to the employer, because all workmen has already worked up to 25th. Okay, so there was no difficulty to go for any problem with this notification, but there was a problem in respect of the April salary. Okay, and subsequently when the April salary was not paid, so most of the state government and their authority has taken some coercive action against the employer, and even the criminal action has also been taken against the employer under section 51 to 54 of the DM Act as well as the IPC 188. So by doing agreed this all impugn order, the employer has filed writ petition before the Supreme Court under Article 32. Okay. Now, this is the first petition came before the Supreme Court. That is Ficus Pack Private Limited versus Union of India 10983, and they have challenged the order of 29th March of the MHA as well as the DO letter of 20th March 2020 decided by the passed by the Ministry of Labor. Till now, at least 20 writ petitions are pending before the Supreme Court. Some out of 29, some 3 or 4 petitions were filed by the union also. Now, when this petition came before the Supreme Court, normally the dispute was not payment in respect of the March, but actually the employer, they were having a problem to pay the wages because due to lockdown, employer have less or zero revenue because the factory has got closed. Employers are not in a position financially to pay the salary and wages during the lockdown period because there was uncertain how long this lockdown will continue. Okay, if the employer are forced to make the 100% salary and wages during the lockdown period by the government by forcing them under section 51 to 54 or making a criminal action against 188 of IPC, then ultimately there was no option. Ultimately, not all industry but few industry will be closed. Okay, so now the third question is this, because this MSA order 29th March 2020 that was issued under section 10(2) subsection 1 of the DM Act. This was the question, and before the Supreme Court, whether MHA can issue a such order to the private employer to pay the full salary under the DM Act. So this is the main issue in the writ petition. Okay. Now, in some writ petition, the petitioner has also stated that there is a ESI provision. Okay. And ESI is having a more surplus money, about 90 crore. So out of that, some amount should be paid to the worker from, and another actually PM fund care fund PM jo recently it has been constituted. And next actually, because industry, because of this natural calamity, cannot go for layoff as per section 25M, because no provision can be applicable initially. Reason being, this DM Act is also overriding other act, similar act, as per the section 72. Okay. Now, so because of that, they can't go for the layoff also. Okay. The government has no power to issue direction to the private employer. So that actually DM Act is also questionable, and MHA order is violative under Article 14, 91G, 21, 265 and 301. It's different actually provision. The petitioner has challenged the petition. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs even issued a circular that it is not legal obligation to the employer to pay the wages to their employee during the lockdown if they have not worked. If somebody has worked either physically or work from, then employer is liable to pay. So now dispute, all these grounds and dispute have gone before the Supreme Court. Now, when this matter has gone before the Supreme Court, date were given, and initially only in two matters, interim, only that no course of action shall be taken against the employer, that was given in Ludhiana Tools and some jute association of Calcutta. But in other matter, no interim order was granted by the court, and the court actually also directed on the request of the Attorney General that Union of India wants to file the counter reply in all the matters. So 3 times they were provided the opportunity, but they could not file the counter affidavit. And on the last moment, on the 4th, they have filed only for one case, the main petition. But that actually counter affidavit was incomplete. Reason being, they have also prayed in that counter affidavit that they should also provide opportunity to counter the other petitioner on merit, means grounds. Okay. So now actually, when this matter, after the arguments was done on 4th, then the matter was kept reserved on 12th June 2020. Now, when this 2020, all across the country, the employer, they were expecting that some final order will come, but on 12th of June 2020, they have given an order by granting interim order by saying that what they have said in that, I'm coming in that order. Now, actually, before reaching on conclusion that what Supreme Court says, so I would like to all participants to read this judgment first. What judgment say? So I have made out that actually this is a 28-page judgment. Okay, from para number 1 to 26, there is only facts of the case, and somewhere actually they have also given a certain that what was the prayer of the petitioner. Okay, but from para 27, okay, that was started real findings of the this order. Now, what 27 is say, the bench discuss about the virus in exercising power 10-1, because actually repeatedly in all petitioners, they have challenged the virus of the section 10, because MHA has no power to issue a such direction to the private organization to pay the salary. So in para 27, they have also discussed, and in 28, because actually they have not decided this issue of virus, so because of incomplete counter affidavit, and they have also discussed in para number 28 and not replied the grounds raised in writ petition. Okay, so they have also granted time. Now, para 29, direction given to submit the detail. Now in 29, they have direction has been given to the Union of India to submit their counter within a 4 weeks, and if the petitioner wants to submit the rejoinder, they can also submit the rejoinder within a 1 week. Okay. Now, para 30 is very important for this judgment because earlier they have granted only in 2 matter. Now, all matter they have granted no course of action till disposal of the writ petition. Okay. Para 31, one petitioner prayed to allow to pay 50%. They have also discussed, this is a very important point for this webinar, because there was no need to write this paragraph. Okay, because the judges or the bench has not decided this issue, but specifically they have mentioned in para number 31 that one petitioner has prayed to allow to pay 50% basic and DA without deduction of PF and ESI, because if we will see the clause of 25M of the ID Act, then it is clear in the layoff compensation can be given 50% of basic and DA only. So rather 45 days. Okay. So this is a very important observation of the bench. Okay. Para 30 is not very important because actually they say that it is a balancing factor. Okay. Para 33 is again, I say, very important. Kindly read this paragraph, and I'm going to read this paragraph because since it is a very important paragraph. It cannot be disputed that the lockdown measures enforced by the Government of India under the Disaster Management Act had equally adverse effect on the employer as well as on employee. Various industry establishments were not allowed to function during the set period, and those allowed to function also could not function to their capacity. Okay. There can be no denial that lockdown measures which were enforced by the Government of India had serious consequences both on the employer and employee. The period of unlock having a begin from 1st June, and even prior to that, some of the industry were permitted to function by the Government of India by different guidelines, and most of the industry and establishment and reopened or opening requires the full workforce. So this is a very important, you can call it paragraph 33. Now 34 is again, I say, because it is a based, this paragraph is totally based for negotiation. Why I am saying for the negotiation? Because the bench also felt the difficulty of the establishment. So that's why they have written very beautiful this paragraph. All industry establishment are a different nature, okay, of different capacity, including the financial capacity. Okay, some of them industry may bear the financial burden of payment of wages. Are substantial means some industry can pay the 100% wages, or substantial wages any percentage, 25 to 50, 75, like that. But they have again say in this paragraph, some may not be able to entire burden. Okay. So now after reading this paragraph, while negotiating with the before the conciliation or directly to the union, there is no compulsion that how much you are going to give. It is totally depending upon the establishment financial capacity. Okay. So this is a good order and have granted a very golden opportunity to the employer. Now, worker and employee, although are ready to work, because actually both parties are ready to work, because there is no unrest between the employer and employee. But due to closure of industry, could not work and suffered. for a smooth running of industry with participation of the workforce, it is essential that a biomedia be found out. This is a word very forcefully and appealing to us. Reason, they say that between the employee and employer, we should come out with biomedia conciliation, बातचीत करना, उनसे अपना terms and condition पर agreement कराना. That is called biomedia. Okay. The obligatory order have been issued on 29th, but actually क्योंकि MHA order has obligatory, ठीक है? In between there has been only 50 days during the period. Why actually they have written a 50 days? Because the mass salary, all the employer they have already paid. So now the dispute only remaining the 50 days. Okay. Now in para number 35, that is again actually written. It is not very important, but actually let me read actually a very small paragraph. In most of the industry, factories and establishment, the worker represented by the trade union or the other employee association, the state is also under obligation, because labor laws is the coming in the concurrent law. So the state and the central government both are liable to maintain the industrial relation across the country. Okay. So now basically ID Act is coming exclusively with the state government if the industry is on and controlled by the state employer. Okay. So that's why actually they have already directed to the state government that they are also under obligation to ensure that there is a smooth running of industrial establishment. Like Supreme Court is also interested that across the country there should be a peace across the country, and the employee and employer, they should come on some platform to reach on a conclusion. Okay. Now para 36, again I say, is a very important. It cannot be disputed that the both industry and labor needs each other, because industry cannot run without labor. Okay. And if the industry has gone, definitely the labor will also lose their employment. Okay. And establishment cannot survive without the employee and labor, vice versa. So I have also written in short in this thing. Now, after having this all paragraph, this Supreme Court has finally directed that in paragraph 37. Okay. Now, after reading this paragraph and the judgment, now we are having a golden opportunity to implement it. Now, how we can implement? These are the 4 steps which I have made in my own competency after reading this, because you will not get this 4 steps from any book or any this judgment also. I am saying the first step, the concerned employee must talk directly to their employee, worker, union, and decide the matter depending upon the financial capacity, without involving the third party, even without involving the government. Okay. If nothing will happen at first step, then you have to opt the second step. If the employer failed to settle the dispute, then the central state utility labor authority can also, employer can also take the help from them, or they can also intervene in the employer matter to settle the dispute. Because after this judgment, maybe if employer is not talking to the union or the employee, maybe the union can directly approach to the conciliation officer. Okay. But settlement should be done with the settlement cannot be done without the help or the consent of the employer. Okay. So both parties needed during the second step. Up now, the third step, if any settlement is arrived at the first or second step. Now actually during the course of first step, the agreement has been done. Parties have signed the agreement. Then what will happen? I say that that agreement has to be documented in Form H. Form H actually provided under the ID Act, but state government rules is also having a on prescribed format. I advise, is very important that the all memorandum of settlement should be done their own prescribed form of the state government. Okay. If it is done, written and signed along with the date and the witness, then the fourth step, you have to apply for taking a registration. And as per the Central Act, the Deputy Labor Commissioner is bound to enter that settlement in the Form O under the Rule 75 of the Central ID Act. Okay. So that actually step, one by one step, if you're going to opt, then definitely this settlement can be done easily. Okay. But I am insisting that the first step should be done by all the employer, and thereafter you can do directly the third step. Okay. Now, when we are going to implement this order, we are having a two type of employee. One is the employee workman, and another is non-workman. Okay. So for the workman category, you have to go as per the prescribed format or the prescribed format of the state government. For the non-workman category, what procedure or the guideline you are going to advise to your client or the employer is going to opt. Employer management can also settle the salary issue to the lockdown period by discussing one-to-one, because it is a contract of employment. Okay. So then actually you can call the employee that this will be, management is going to decide during the lockdown period this much wages, and this component you will get this percentage. Okay. Now, if our organization is so big, then we can also inform through email or through WhatsApp group. Okay. Because recently this Delhi High Court has categorically say that during this lockdown period, WhatsApp, SMS and this email will be treated as a legal document. Okay. So you can send that all terms and conditions during the lockdown to the employee through email. Okay. Now, HR professional must take consent in writing, because actually if the email has gone, they have accepted. If they are not reverting, then what will happen? It means he has not accepted. Then definitely you ask the employee concerned, okay, you have to accept or not accept. Okay. And that acceptance either this paper mein, or you can through email, you have to keep that copy in the personal file. Okay. Now regarding that regarding the now actually I am coming of the question answer. Now the question answer which I have received from the this webinar, whether this order is applicable on both category? Yes, because actually this after reading this judgment, it is not applicable only for the workman category or only for the employee. It is applicable to all employee and the workmen of the organization. What percentage should be negotiated? Depending upon the financial capacity. Okay. That has been specifically given in para number 34. No percentage has been decided by the Supreme Court. Okay, what percentage you have to give in to their employee. So this is actually, if you are reading para 34, it is very clear, because actually they have already categorized in three type of employer. One employer can bear the total wages, one employer substantial, and one employer cannot entire wages. Okay. Can employee pay the wages into installment? Yes, but you have to document it in the agreement. Can employee adjust advance if paid? Yes, but that adjustment, what amount you have given, what percentage you have given to their employee, You have to note it down in the agreement. Okay. Next one on the failure of, now suppose karo, this is a question among the employer and the consultant that if our conciliation is remaining failure during the course of conciliation proceeding, then this matter can be referred by the government under section 10 of ID Act. I say no. Why actually it is no? First, it is not an industrial dispute act. Okay. It is not an industrial dispute. And second, actually the reasoning, because regarding the wages of the lockdown is sub judice before the Supreme Court. So when the Supreme Court matter is sub judice, no authority can refer this matter to the appropriate government. Can employer go for layoff now? Yes. Why not? Subject to provision of the certified standing order or IDA, they can go for the layoff. Whether registration of the memorandum of settlement is mandatory, it is a bona fide for employer to get registered MOS, because a specific provision is already given under the rule for registration. So as far as my experience and my advice, that there is no cost is coming on for registration of the agreement. Okay. Can the conciliation officer, ALC, DLC can pressurize to employer to settle the dispute of the wages? No. Please read paragraph 35 and 36. Specifically, the code categorically say that settlement should be done amicably. Okay. Between the employee and employer. Okay. Can employee or workman file their claim under section 15(1) of payment of wages or section 21 of the Minimum Wages Act? No, not at all, because only regarding the dispute of earned wages can be filed under section 15 first. And second, actually my contention, because matter in respect of this 50 days already sub judice before the Supreme Court. So any employee cannot file any case under section 15 under the Payment of Wages Act, or in Delhi, even the manager category, a general manager, they can also file in respect of their due wages under the Shop and Establishment Act. But this provision is only applicable across the country at only that Delhi and Haryana. Another, whether this memorandum may be drafted with assistance of the labor law advisor. Yes, because it is a legal document. Okay. So better at drafting should be done through labor law advisor or the advocate. Okay. Whether PF ESI contribution attract on this component of wages? Yes. However, if the amount is given in lieu of that deemed layoff compensation, then PF contribution does not attract as per the section 7, or read along with section 2B. Why actually I have quoted down this citation. That is citation is National Cooperative Mill. In that actually judgment, the Madurai High Court categorically decided that in view of the circular issued by the EPFO, layoff compensation does not attract provident fund. So that's why actually they have decided on the basis of the circular, the layoff compensation does not attract the provident fund. But in respect of ESI, I can say yes, ESI will be deducted on layoff compensation, because I could not get any case where the employer has not deducted and they have done assessment under section 45A and the matter has gone before the labor court. Maybe actually other consultant, they can also assist to the other participant whether ESI this layoff compensation or the wages during the lockdown period would attract ESI contribution or not. And my second in respect of the ESI payment, because our contribution period is going to start from the April. Okay. If this lockdown continue or the employee is not coming on duty, then actually he is not entitled to get the sickness benefit if any member is going to sick during this lockdown period. So I advise to all the